Right, what's happening, people, and welcome to another episode of the Best of London. I am Joey, joined by my good friend Joel Bayer. Joel, what's happening, mate?
Listen, man, I've had a good week. You know, an Arsenal win always helps and stuff like that. But at the same time...
You're welcome.
Yeah, but at the same time, Chelsea have given us again... Probably is that now the best game of the season? Like I thought the Spurs one was.
Best game of the season, mate. That's the best game I've seen in years.
So good, innit? But weirdly enough, though, I still feel like the Spurs game was really, really good as well. Like, I don't know. It's out of those two. I'm not really sure. But
8 goals in the space of 6 days. When we were having a bit of a goal drought, we were looking and we were saying, you know, who's going to score our goals? Will it be Cole Palmer from the penalty spot? Will it be Nicholas Jackson? All of a sudden, we play 2 high flyers in this Premier League season and we're banging 8 goals. So, don't want to say problem solved, but it's looking good, man. It was a good weekend for Arsenal as well. You see Spurs dropping points, Man City dropping points.
Yeah, all we're trying to do, if I'm honest with you, is you're trying to make that gap not go too far between yourselves and City. So I was cheering. I was like, come on. Like, I was like proper getting excited. Like, Cole Palmer, you beauty. It was honestly, it was awesome. And look, that's the fun that you have when you're a football fan, isn't it? Like you get to laugh around a little bit. I was posting Cole Palmer on my Instagram. You know, I'm always plugging my Instagram. I was posting him there, like, you know, the video of him like with the Clark shoes.
Legendary.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, yeah. Hilarious stuff.
Well, Cole Palmer is one man that we're going to speak about today. Another man who shone in that win. For a win, I'll call it, in the performance against Man City. It feels like a win, though, doesn't it? I'm leaving that in because it feels like a win.
It does.
In that performance against Man City, Raheem Sterling rolled back the years, as he has been doing all season. But the elephant in the room here is it's now a hat-trick for Sterling of exclusions from Southgate's England team. So I want to talk about that today because I know I've got a few choice words about that exclusion. We're going to talk about Raheem Sterling. We're going to talk about Cole Palmer. We're going to talk about Reece James, who's back on the pitch, hitting form, but again has come under a little bit of criticism, you might call it. Southgate's had a few words about him and obviously turning down his international call-up, so we'll speak about that. But let's start off on Raheem Sterling.
Free Raheem Sterling. Honestly, I think it's such a disrespect that he's not been...
I want to check the poll. I put a poll out when I was on the train on the way here, saying, should Raheem Sterling... Bearing in mind, of course, I've got a lot of Chelsea supporters on my Instagram, but let's see.
What's the question?
Right. I said, I want to gauge a reaction for today's episode of The Best of London. Should Sterling have been included in Southgate's latest squad?
Mate.
95% saying yes, he should have been.
Mate, even if it weren't like full of Chelsea fans on your IG... I think everyone thinks the same thing.
What's going on there?
Honestly, man, there's been a fallout. There's been a fallout. There has to be a fallout. Reason being is simple. We all know Gareth Southgate likes his reliable players. We know it. We've seen it in Harry Maguire. We've seen it in Calvin Phillips. Yeah. We've also seen it in Pickford. Because let's be real, last year, like Pickford was all right, but they were on their way down. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could have easily been Aaron Ramsdale in goal or Nick Pope, easily. But he seems to hang with the people that he loves and he cares about. Why would you not stay tight with Raheem Sterling? He scored the majority of the goals for you at the Euros. Do you know what I mean? Like, if anyone should be living off their previous performances, it should be that guy.
That's what I'm saying. You just named 3 players there that he's stuck by, and there's more. There's more that he's stuck by. Raheem Sterling has done more for England than any of them, even all of them combined. He's done more. Not only has he done more for England, he's done more for Gareth Southgate than any of them combined. Like, I was having a little look earlier because I was thinking, God, like, rattling my brain, Raheem Sterling must have been to a good few... He's been to 5 tournaments now.
Honestly.
And when you look, right, since Raheem Sterling came in, we had a miserable 2014, it was the World Cup that year, wasn't it? Yeah. Absolutely miserable. But Raheem Sterling, very young at the time, I think 17? He might have been about 17, 18.
People don't talk about that, you know.
Rare shining light in that tournament, right? Then you look at 2018. He starts every single game, barring the third place playoff to Belgium, which is a nothing game. But he starts every single game. Yeah. That tournament was the making of Gareth Southgate. Raheem Sterling playing a pivotal part, right? Then we move on.
He didn't score in that one though, did he?
He assisted.
He did. Like, I think I remember there being a little bit of I wish he scored a little bit because I remember, but he did his job. He weren't getting dropped.
That sets the tone for the next tournament, right? Because by the next tournament, Euro 2020, we're looking at it and we're going, should Sterling be in the starting lineup? There's never a doubt of him being in the squad. Should he be in the starting lineup?
Should it be, you know?
Exactly. What happens? Absolutely takes that tournament by the scruff of the neck. And let's be honest, right? I'm 29, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember anything really prior to 2002 World Cup, right? Okay. So for me, Raheem Sterling gave me the best moment in my life supporting the national team. When he turned up in that match against Germany and took the game again by the scruff of the neck. He played a big part in Kane's goal, and obviously he scored the opener. When he turned up against Germany at Wembley in that tournament, that was the best moment I've had as an England fan. And then we even look at the latest tournament, right? Group stages, I think he gets a goal and assist, right? But fair enough, he didn't set the world alight. But then when it comes back to being able to rely on someone, being able to rely on someone's attitude, right? Raheem Sterling's family are subject to a burglary, an armed burglary during the tournament, right? Tournament in Qatar, by the way, you know, it's not in Europe. He flies home, right? And at that point you think, okay, fair enough. 9 out of 10 people probably stay at home with their family in that situation. Traumatic experience. What's he do?
He came back.
He comes back.
And bearing in mind, we all know what Raheem Sterling thinks of his family. Everybody loves their family, but we all know how he talks about his mum, how he talks about his sister. He's the protector.
Exactly.
He is the protector.
And he flies back, right? He comes off the bench against France, right? So that there shows commitment to the cause, right? So all of that stuff, I would say, should give you more than enough money in the bank if you're going on like Southgate sticking by you. Bearing in mind, the context here is that he's stuck by Harry Maguire when he wasn't playing. He's stuck by Calvin Phillips when he's not playing.
The only issue I would say Raheem Sterling has had whilst playing for England is probably the situation with Joe Gomez. And that was resolved quickly, and that was a while ago. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, when you're trying to think, what's wrong? What's gone wrong? That's the only thing I can really think of. That's to public knowledge anyway, you see. But besides that, I think, Joey, I could be wrong, but I look and I think, is he pissed off because he went back? Am I making things up here? Am I speculating too much? I don't want to, but at the moment, I just can't, for the sake of me, understand why you're not playing. He said in the press conference...
How can you be?
He said, who else? And I was so angry, not at Southgate for asking the question, at the journalist for not challenging him. Marcus Rashford, those stats are poor at the moment. 1 goal. Do you see what I mean?
Well, that's the thing with it. Like, when you look, mate...
Listen,
honestly,
I'm not saying Grealish is not a good player, and I'm not saying he doesn't, you know, whatever, but he's been second fiddle to Doku for a reason.
When you look at it and you go, all of the sort of achievements for England, all of the things that I think deserve credit in the bank for England, all become irrelevant if he's not performing. If he's not performing, you could have done what you want in the past. It's irrelevant, really, and I'd agree with that. The fella's performing. He's performing so well. If you look at his starts for Chelsea this season, goal involvement in every other game. Let's look, right? And I've had to pull these
Reel
up.
Out the stats. Reel them out,
I'm
Joey.
on a rant here. But
reel them out.
Let's go with this season, right? Rashford's on poor form. Man United are on poor form. But Rashford is on poor form. He's got a single goal and a single assist so far this Premier League season, right? Jarrod Bowen was one we were saying off camera. This really surprised me.
Really well.
I knew he'd scored a few goals, but 8 goals and an assist in the Premier League this season.
And what did you say as well? It's not like he's like got a hat-trick in him or whatever.
Single goals. Just been turning up in every match, scoring a goal. So that's really impressive, and I completely understand it. But Rashford, Sterling should be in over him, in my opinion. But let me just tell you this, right? For England, 5 major international tournaments, 82 games. 47 goal involvements in those 82 games. But the first thing people will say is, oh, yeah, but what about Forget about San Marino. Forget about Lithuania. Let's go major international tournaments. Euros and World Cups. 9 goal involvements in 22 games in major international tournaments. Only 18 of them were starts, which when you then level it out, means that a goal involvement every other game in a major international tournament. Let's put a bit of context on it. Rashford, 23 goals in 57 games for England. That's pretty good. But in major tournaments, 11 games, 3 goals. Grealish, 3 goal involvements in 10 major tournament games. It's not bad. It's not as good as Sterling's. Foden, 3 goal involvements in 7 major tournament games. That's pretty good. And Jarrod Bowen hasn't played in a major tournament for England. I don't understand how Sterling's not in the squad.
Listen, what you're saying is 100% right. I do think it's been a bit stop-start for Jack Grealish. Especially when they kept bringing him on for like every 5-10 minutes at Euro 2021. We need to put some context behind that. Rashford, it wasn't until he wasn't really favoured too much in the World Cup either. I mean, he did well when he came on, but Raheem Sterling, look, forget those players, right? As much of a Cole Palmer fan that I am at the moment, and listen, there's no secret, mate. I can't wait till he gets sponsored by Clark Shoes. It's coming, real bad, man. But he should be in the squad over Cole Palmer. Yeah. As much as I think Cole Palmer should be in the squad, he should be in the squad over Cole Palmer. And you can't tell me that there's not something personal in there. You can't. I'm sorry. Like, you can't. Why not? Sterling can play on either flank. Like you said, he's got all the experience in the world. You need senior ambassadors who can get you through it. Yes, you've got Kane. But besides Kane, who's the most senior player there? Probably Harry Maguire and Pickford. Really, right?
Yeah.
Mate, honestly, it's sad to see, because back in the day, I was talking with Rio. I always plug Viable 5. The link's in the description. And we were saying that back in the day, Rio was saying, back in the day when you played for England, it was like the pinnacle. And what I mean by that is the pinnacle of your performances. He said that he knew he could get into the England team as long as he kept playing, given 8s, 9s, 7, 8s, 9s. At Man United at the time, he would be in the squad. He goes, now it's all disjointed. Tomori's just about getting called up now. After winning Serie A and whatever. Do you know where I'm coming from? Like,
in a position on the field when we're weak, let's be honest, depth-wise.
Seriously. And sometimes you look and you just go, what does it mean anymore to get a call up for England when you're doing this? What message does it send? Jordan Henderson, he's been a great servant to the country. He really has. But he's playing semi-pro football at the moment, Like, come on, bro. Like, and look, I know I'm going over the top with the semi-pro football comment here, but what's that? League One? Championship at best?
Not championship.
It's not championship.
It's not championship. I've watched a little bit. It's not championship.
League One?
As much as you can sprinkle star-studded names in, ultimately, at the end of the day, if you actually look at those teams,
League Two?
the most anyone has is 3 stars. Most of them have 1, and I would say the standard is the same as, third-tier English football. League 2. League 1. We obviously know that there's a certain situation that's gone on with Ben White. We aren't privy to the situation.
But we understand why he's not in the team. He clearly doesn't get along with the stop. There's something there. He's not getting called up because
he's in a position on the pitch where, let's say, for example, touch wood, John Stones is fit and ready for the tournament. If he is not, he's in a position on the pitch where, although he's playing at right back for club, I do genuinely think that Ben White could be an option there and could be someone that we could use there. But you know what? As we say, Ben White, what he hasn't got going in his favour is major tournament experience for us and credit in the bank for us. Raheem Sterling's been there and done it.
But with Ben White, I know you're using it as an example, Joey, but with Ben White, it's personal. And we know it's personal. I can't tell you I know the exact conversations, but come on. He left during the England squad, like the England camp, and, he was just like 5th choice, and he hasn't been called back since. Bro, it's not because of his performances. He came as a runners-up in the league last year. He was awesome. Do you see what I mean? So that's personal. I can accept that because I know for sure that there's a situation there.
But then do you not think, like, and I don't mean this in a rude way, what has Ben White ever done for Gareth Southgate? So hardly anything. Maybe because he hasn't been given the opportunity to, but hardly anything. So let's say, for example, me and you don't know each other well. No one's ever helped each other out of the two of us, and I do something to annoy you. There's a pretty good chance you're just going to think, I'll long him off. You know what I mean? But if we've got experience, if we've been through stuff together, you're going to think, he pissed me off there. But anyway, crack on, like whatever. These Gareth Southgate and Sterling have been through 5 major. Well, obviously Sterling 5 major tournaments, but every tournament that Southgate has had, Sterling's been there. He's been his man. He's been reliable for him. And this is the problem. This is the last bit I'll say on the Sterling thing before we move on. I always backed Gareth Southgate over the Harry Maguire situation. I genuinely did. I always said, do you know what? It might not be everyone's sort of way of doing things, but I understand that Southgate has got the thing in his head of these are my guys, and whether they're playing, whether they're performing to the highest standard or not, these are my guys that I can rely on, and I'm going to stick by them. And the day I lost faith in Southgate was this last squad inclusion.
Yeah, but Joey, that's wrong though, if I'm honest with you. Because the reason why I say that's wrong is because I understand his way, and I'm sure that's what you say you like and you admire about him. But Gareth Southgate was the one that said, once upon a time, that it's all about form. It's all about how you're playing. You know, like there's no favourites. It's just all about your performances. And he's counted his words so many times. That's where I've lost the faith. Not because he's been poor at international tournaments, not because of the squads that he's picked. It's because there is no clear methodology. I like people that say it as it is, right? If you say, look, I've got my favourites, right? And I've got people that I can rely on thick and thin. That's just how it's going to be, and the rest is going to be based on performances. Cool. Do what you're doing. You know, I can't really question it. But this is the reason why I'm a little bit ticked off with the Arteta situation when it comes to Ramsdale and Raya, because he said, yo, there's been times when the goalkeeper's not been playing well, and after 60 minutes, I felt like taking him off, and I never had the option.
I said as soon as I heard that, that's never happening.
Bro.
He's letting him down gentle there. That's never happening.
Now, when there's those situations that are happening and you're thinking, take him off. Take him off.
It's crazy.
And you're not taking him off. That's when I go, whoa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? It's the same situation. That's why I say it's wrong. Not but like you've obviously it means something more to you now because it's your player. You've got a connection there with Sterling. But bro, for me, where I've lost faith is because you said this and now you're saying this. See, Pep don't really business, bruv. He says what he says and that's it. He don't even give you an explanation. He says, go on then. Yeah. I don't really care if I'm selling to Rob. Like, do you know what I mean? I can live with that. But it's when you're saying one thing and then you're doing this, or, you know, like Ten Hag was saying, oh, no. Like, I understand when you're protecting the player, but I don't even think you're protecting players when you do that.
If you're going to twist, at least then stick to what you've twisted to. Because if you're saying, I'm going on form, okay, then you start picking Harry Maguire. Now you've twisted. Now you've showed your hand and you've said, do you know what? I sort of want to go on form, but I want to go for the guys that have done it for me. Fine.
Say it.
Fine.
Say it.
Stick with that.
Yeah.
But then how can you not pick Sterling? Because he ticks both boxes. He's on form, and he is one of the reasons why you're still in a job. That's not going too far, mate. He is.
Joey.
He's one of the reasons why you're still there.
100%. Let me just read out and what a game for you to not pick him for. After Man City, most duels contested, 21. Most take-ons attempted, 10. Most duels won, 9. I've never seen most possessions won in the final third. Telling you he's pressing. Guys, do we know who Raheem Sterling played against this weekend? Kyle Walker, who for me, I love Reece James to bit, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for me, Reece
I
James is the guy, the most complete right back that the country has going forward and back as a right back. But I think Kyle Walker's the best. I think Kyle Walker is still the best.
And he had him on
And
skates.
he had Kyle Walker on toast, bro.
Yeah.
All he needed to do was butter it up and eat it. Like, literally. Bro, like, that's not easy. And, yeah, man, you know, the guy should feel hard done by. Obviously, we're happy for Cole Palmer, but Gareth, come on, man.
We get on to Cole Palmer, but I want to get the little rant inside out of me first. So I want to move on to Reece James. Reece James obviously withdrew from the England squad. Now, the only difference is Reece James didn't go to training with England and he withdrew as soon as he got the call up. Because actually, we've seen by the England staff, maybe they were released, but we've seen, 3 more players withdraw after that. Levi Colwell, who was called up, James Maddison, who was called up, and I think there was one more. It might have been Eze.
Jude Bellingham as well.
Bellingham as well. Okay, so the only difference is they went to the training camp and then were sent home. Reece James said, "I want to carry on at Chelsea, part of my rehabilitation program, and that's why I'm not going to turn up for this squad." Gareth Southgate has said that puts his place in jeopardy. He's I'm paraphrasing here, but he's basically said it is a risk, Reece not coming, because there's only one more squad selection, so it's risky for him to do that. Now, here's what I think about that. I think that when you look at a player like Reece James, he's not coming off a hamstring injury, and the season before he was playing 38 games. Reece James has been plagued by injuries over the past, 3 years? Ever since Chelsea won the Champions League, Reece James has not been able to start more than 6-7 games in a row. He's been plagued by injuries. He's a young player that could potentially be the best in the world in his position, and for that reason, he needs to be taken care of. He needs to be nurtured, and he needs to be rehabilitated effectively when it comes to returning from injury. Am I seeing this through blue-tinted glasses? Is there any validity here to Gareth Southgate saying, well, you've put your place at risk there?
I think if there wasn't all this whole other palaver that we've just discussed, he might be fair to say it. You know, because it's an honour. You've been called up for your country. You know, we all know what it means. I spent 2 minutes earlier on talking to you about what it meant when the other guys got called up. I mean, think about it. There were players that were they used to get called up to England and they would play with one leg. David Beckham, we saw for the World Cup, the famous metatarsal injury. We all knew what that word was because he was fighting just to be in the team to play. You know, we've seen Wayne Rooney attempt it. We've just seen so many players, you know. But Michael Owen, you know, before a major tournament, he moved from Real Madrid to Newcastle just to play football so he can get called up to the World Cup. Otherwise, he probably would have won a few more La Ligas. Only problem was that he had Raul and R9 ahead of him. But we're at a stage now where I feel like footballers understand their bodies better. You know, and maybe because of everything that's happened, maybe Reece is just like, no, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm not going to break my back for something that's up and down. I'll do what I do. I know my body. I know what I've been through. I want to take it easy. And maybe Gareth Southgate's thinking, well, okay, maybe you do want to take it easy, but you've just played against City. Yeah. You've just played against Spurs. You know, you should be all right to at least attend. So
still not completed the 90 minutes, though. Still not done more than 70 minutes.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's all part of the whole. It's all part of the recovery, right? I'm sure that if he had gone and said, listen, mate, maybe I can give you like 60, 70 minutes, I'll be all right. They might have been able to work something out. Who's the opposition? What, San Marino?
And we're qualified.
Come on. Do you know what I mean? So I do get it from Southgate's perspective. I do also get it from Reece's perspective because I just kind of think, well, because there's no consistency here, right now, I don't really care what you're saying. You know, and I think as much as Gareth says, oh, there's loads of people in that position, whatever. If Reece James is fit, like fully fit, oh, you want him in that squad. Yes, you got Kyle Walker there. Yes, you got Kieran Trippier there, who I rate massively. But because you then have the option of going, you know, you've got the option of, you know, getting Kyle Walker as the third centre back, and you play Reece as a wing back. Like, you could do so much. Or like you want that boy in your team,
mate. You can look at Trent. You can go, should I start an attacking fullback? Yeah. You look at Walker. Exactly. Go, should I start a defensive fullback? Yeah. Or you look at Reece.
And then on top of that,
should I start both?
And then on top of that, you need to be careful with those words because we haven't been rich in vein on the left back area. You're probably going to need Kieran Trippier on that side. If I'm honest with you. Yeah. So then that frees up, you know, what he can do on the right hand side.
Perspective wise, right? Let me just be completely honest with you. I look at everything from a Chelsea perspective, and the reason this one's like irked me so much, right? The reason this one has really, really rattled me, mate. It's been horrible for Chelsea fans the last 2 years, seeing how Reece has been with injuries. I make no secret of how reliant I think we are upon Reece James. Yeah. He's a match winner for us. That doesn't mean necessarily goals and assists, although he did grab one this weekend. But what I do mean by that is his performance elevates the whole team. And in years gone by, maybe you wouldn't stick a right back or a left back in there and say the team's elevated, but it really is when Reece is on the pitch. He adds something so crucial for us that I genuinely think that it is points... points gained and league positions jumped if we have Reece James in that team. And for that reason, I sort of do want to wrap him in cotton wool. I do want him to be really, really managed well, so that my club Chelsea can benefit from it. So I can understand that, and maybe we can stick a pin in that one and see on the next squad selection if he does include Reece in it.
I mean,
one man he has included, which we're all very happy about, the Magic Man, Cole Palmer. You was at the Community Shield, weren't you? He came on as a sub in that match.
He came on as a sub, and yeah, he went on that side where I thought he did so well, man. He gave Kieran Tierney a hard time, man. And obviously, Kieran Tierney, you could tell that he was probably on his way out anyway, and his confidence was low. But Cole Palmer, man, he didn't waste any time.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But did you look at him that day, and maybe even in the Super Cup where I know he scored a header, were you looking at him around that time thinking this kid's going to go on to be special this season, or was it again just a case of one for the future?
No, I just thought he was ready. I thought Mahrez is gone. I thought perfect replacement. You know what Pep's like? One goes, one comes in. It's like a conveyor belt, isn't it? I just thought, oh, perfect timing for him. Every time I see him, I think he's good. I speak to a few City fans. He's a good one for the academy. He was pinnacle to show that you can make it. And let's be real, City, you know, that's probably the next stage they need to go to. That's why Rico Lewis is so important for them. You know, like it's a sign of a big club as well when you can buy big players, but you produce the best as well. So I just thought, yeah, you know, it's time is now. I was pretty surprised to see him go, but especially because of the Mahrez situation. But it looks like it was the best thing ever, innit? Really,
came out of nowhere, didn't it? That Cole Palmer one.
And even the price at the time, I thought 40 million for someone that you know doesn't play, like, really.
45 including add-ons.
45,
and I'm pretty sure. I mean, the most obvious add-on is normally if you get Champions League football, it could still happen outside chance, but a lot of those add-ons will be on individual player performance. So it looks like we're going to have to pay the 45. Because if they're on goals and assists, I'll tell you what, this boy finishes the season with a fair few of them. He's already on, 8 goals and assists in 8 starts, I think it is, for Chelsea.
I just want to say, when they were taking the free kick and he kind of got involved, I just thought the arrogance. I love the arrogance. Didn't
you think that's something that, like, when we were growing up, you used to see a lot of in football? There's a lot of funny moments and stuff that happened in football around that time. And maybe you don't see as much of it anymore. And I think when I see, like, not even just that, the goal celebrations. Shushing the Tottenham fans. Giving it to the Chelsea fans. Like, the goal celebrations as well in there. I'm seeing something in this boy and I'm like, mate, you are ready. And I'm on about, of course he's ready. I'm on about ready to be the next one, to be the man that goes, right, I'm 20 years old. I'm taking these lot on my back here and I'm carrying them.
He's different, man. He's different.
Honestly, even the thing with Sterling, at the time I didn't like it. You know, when he took the ball off Sterling for the penalty, at the time, I didn't like it from his side. I didn't really like it from Sterling's side. If I'm honest with you, because I just thought, if he now misses, that's going to be magnified loads.
Yeah, but the truth is, I thought it was handled well by Sterling, because as soon as Enzo stepped in and said whatever he said to let him take it, Sterling stopped straight away. And I thought, wow, they must have a lot of respect for Enzo, or there's something there, because as far as I'm concerned, Raheem Sterling is the daddy, bro. Definitely got the most prems in that team. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? Funny enough, though,
what
if you ask all the Chelsea fan base, say to everyone in that crowd, you can have Cole Palmer. Bearing in mind, at this point, it only took one penalty for us, the one he scored against Burnley. If you asked everyone, 42,000 in the crowd, who do you want to take that penalty? 99% say Cole Palmer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now I don't disagree. And it's the fact that he said he don't even practice them either. He said it's just natural instinct. I thought either you're saying that because you're not letting out secrets, or you're just a real bad man.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer.
Well, he is.
He really
100% he
him,
is.
Honestly.
Hopefully we get to see him get some minutes for England in this.
Because if he doesn't, then, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing if he didn't. Because, you know, sometimes, right, when you're that young, sometimes just being in and around the camp is
Bellingham.
good.
Bellingham, Euro 2020.
Yeah.
He was in the squad, wasn't he?
He was in the
I
squad.
don't think he ever got on the pitch. He might have done.
But it just, I don't even think he did. I could be wrong. But I just remember, I got some friends there at the time, Joel and the players, and apparently his attitude at the time was still like the way it is now. He was very hard on himself and whatever it is, and I don't know if that would have put Southgate off a little bit, because when you've got at the time he was just like, I don't know, 17 or something, or whatever he was like, and 17, 18, and sometimes he talks and the way he acts as if he's a bit more senior, and sometimes can that be a little bit over empowering when someone's not ready? I don't know. That's a totally different conversation. We can revisit that, but at the time he could have played for England as well.
Yeah,
you know. But
I'll tell you what, whoever takes over from Southgate, maybe the next tournament, maybe the tournament after, you know, we were looking at this England team and we were thinking, and even are still thinking, these lot need to win something because might not get a better chance. I'll tell you what, 4 years down the line, Bellingham, prime, Cole Palmer, prime, Levi Colwell, and there'll even be ones that come through that we don't even know about now.
You're going to have Saka. You're going to have, it's a shame we can't say Jadon Sancho anymore because at one point it was looking like he was going to be a world beater. You've got Declan Rice. You know, you've got, and there's
ones that we won't know about now.
Exactly.
Like, not won't know about because they haven't come on the scene. Yeah. They'll probably be on the scene, but ones we never... Let's say, for example, I'll give you an example of it. When he was 20, we weren't looking at Harry Kane going, this fella is going to be the future at number 9 of England.
Of our generation.
Not when he's going out on loan to Norwich and Millwall and whoever else. So there'll be ones that, like, we know about now that will just, you know, come good by that time. So that's really interesting. Let's finish off on, I think, what's going to have to end up being a weekly segment with the way that this man divides opinions and his up and down form. Jackson watch.
Nicholas Jackson.
What you saying?
I've probably done the sign wrong, but I just felt like doing something.
Wait, did you see that he wanted Cole Palmer to do the Adebayor?
Did he?
Mate, after
to
Cole
run
Palmer,
across?
Cole Palmer scores and he's gone like that to Chelsea fans, and Jackson's going like that, pointing to the City fans. And he's like, all right, mate.
Oh, mate, he's trying to get him in
Legend.
trouble. But yeah, you know, they're fighting for each other, which is, I guess that's good for, you know, for teammates and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Nicholas Jackson, we were on the blogs this week, you know, a lot of the social media blogs.
Yeah,
and
that blew up.
You chopped it up and you read all the stats and then you go, are you sure he still shouldn't start? And I went, nope.
That is perfect. And
everyone's just like...
do you know what? Yeah, sometimes I'm proud of the editing. I've got a nice bit of music on there and whatever, and I timed it perfect. You just go, nah.
Did me a bit dirty, innit? There was no context to that. You know, on socials, everyone's like, I can't believe he says all of that. Give him time. And look, man, we're football fans. 1 week we think this, 1 week we think that. That's why we're not coaching, you know, and I was thinking about it after the podcast. I thought, do you know what? I think a lot of the people were right. I think to an extent we're judging him too soon. But at the same time, I still stick with the fact that I'm saying that at Chelsea Football Club, back then, the standards weren't the same. Even when Drogba wasn't as efficient, you know, or Kesman comes in and he wasn't. I mean, there were other people there, like... There were people there that could kind of fill in. I think the difficulty with Nicholas Jackson is he is the number 9. I really like Broja, by the way. Just in general. Like, I don't know what the situation with him is. Are you guys going to give him an
Just easing him back. I think we're very much easing him back. That was a bad, real bad injury he had.
Okay.
So, do you know what he was in as well? A mid-season friendly.
Really?
It's like around World Cup time. Went out to, like, I can't remember what country it was in, but far away across the world. We played Aston Villa. We lost 1-0 in a mid-season friendly, and he goes down.
His leg or something?
It was like a cruciate ligament or something. Yeah, but it's bad injury. Yeah. Bad injury. He was out for a long time. And his tenacity and sort of the pace we saw from him and just the physicalness, we haven't really seen that yet since he's come back. But we need to give him time, obviously. The only thing is he came back and then he had swelling, which is never good.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like swelling to someone who don't maybe know as much about these sort of things. You think swelling is not that bad. When you've had a bad injury like that and then it's swelling up, the first place my mind always goes to is Ledley King. That's what it used to be. It used to be swelling every time, and that's why he'd literally like train lightly one day and then play on the Saturday. But I think bro will come back. But in terms of Jackson right now, what's that? 6 goals in 11 appearances.
Yeah, listen, he's
not
proven
all of them were starts. 6 in 10 starts, I think it is.
He's proved me wrong, you know, like in a sense where, and when I say prove me wrong from last week's episode, you know, and we do have to give people time. You know, I think the audience is right, but at the same time, what I said, which you didn't put in the social media clip, is expectations. It's just that Chelsea Football Club needs something now. You know what I mean? Like, you need to get back into the Champions League now, because otherwise it starts to become difficult with financial fair play. It starts to become, even though I think you've got a great squad, I've always said that. But this is Chelsea Football Club. You need a talisman now. And yeah, he's going to grow. He's going to make mistakes and whatnot. Sometimes I think he would be better off as a winger.
He was a winger. 50% of the matches he's played in professional football have come at number 9. 50% came out wide.
See, that makes sense. I never knew that before.
Yeah.
I literally just said it because I looked at the way he plays.
Winger at Villarreal.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I look at him and I think, you could do a job as a winger.
Yeah.
Like, he reminds me of that, like, physically, like, just his pay, like, yeah, like, I can see
Sterling and Palmer, if they're fit, though, he ain't getting on our wing in a minute.
No
Better
way.
off at number 9.
Exactly.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Like, I said that, and I said this originally, I said that when he's being relied upon as the source of goals, it is going to be difficult for him. But actually, if the other players start chipping in with goals, as they have been recently, then you'll see
Less
him.
pressure.
You'll see him add to it. What I do want to see from him, if we are going to rely on him and we are going to stick with him at number 9, what I would like to see from him is like us win a game 1-0, 2-1, and him pop up with a goal there or the goals there, rather than we're putting 4 past City and he gets one of them. But then I'm being really...
Which is fair,
yeah.
But at the same time, you're being unfair.
Yeah.
Because, mate, what more can you ask? How many goals has he scored this season? Do you know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, like I'm saying, I don't... He's obviously not the finished article, and I do think you can do better. But at the same time, for someone who's not been at their best, mate, he's doing a lot more than a lot of strikers. He's doing better than my number 9 and you know, the United number 9s and many other teams. So, you know, like, I guess as a Chelsea fan, you could only keep encouraging him and, you know, hey.
Well, we will stick a pin in that one because I think Jackson Watch is going to have to become a weekly segment
Jackson Watch
of this. People, thank you all for joining us once again. Do me a massive favour, and you're doing yourself a favour because the content over there is really good. Joel's Instagram is linked in the description. The 5 podcast, yesterday's one, I'm going to link that in the description. Obviously, then you can hear Rio's thoughts on Monday. Sorry, I keep saying my week's all over the place, man. Punched too many times. Monday's episode of Vibe on 5, that's linked in the description to this video. Obviously, Rio giving his thoughts on the Sterling exclusion from
and
the
Cole
England
Palmer.
squad.
There's a lot of Chelsea in it, so you guys are going to enjoy it, man.
Yeah. Obviously, my Instagram's linked in the description. Let us know in the comment section what you want to see us talk about next week. Obviously, it will still be the international break, so any ideas you've got for us, let us know, and we'll be covering it next week, and I will see you all in the next one.